As we've been discussing, inflation is a huge concern. The cost of food, for instance, up almost 13% this September compared to last. Representative Kuster, in answering our online questionnaire about inflation, you said this. I'm going to quote this back to you. Quote, "I'm proud to be leading a multi-pronged approach to making everyday necessities more affordable and ensuring economic resiliency for generations to come." What specifically does that mean?
It's about bringing down the cost of food by encouraging us to buy and to produce lower cost food closer to home. Part of what's driving the cost of food is the profiteering and the price gouging by large corporations. You saw, for example, General Mills giving 200% shareholder stockbacks, and people are paying $5 for a box of cereal. But right here, if we could buy food closer to home, I've been working on the Farm Bill, I will be again in the Agriculture Committee, to encourage, say for example, greens in Loudon, New Hampshire, with greenhouses that are producing greens all winter long, fresh, delicious, and cost less, and we don't have to pay to have them trucked all the way across the country. So that's what I'm referring to. It's a multi-pronged approach.
Mr. Burns, you said there's no instant solution to inflation, but one approach would be to open up more gasoline production in the U.S. and also you mentioned get back to work on the Keystone Pipeline. Do you have other ideas to reduce inflation right now?
Well, also production of diesel fuel. We haven't built a new processing plant in years, and you know, bringing in the natural gas through shipping that currently can't come in because of the Jones Act. There's all sorts of things that we can start to be taking down energy costs. But we saw this coming, and there were a lot of things that we could have done to head this off, including like using more wood, getting people prepared to what was going to happen. But the Biden administration was in complete denial over the inflation and the oncoming economic disaster that we're heading towards right now. Every time that the gas prices would move down 10 cents, he would be on television taking a victory lap and not getting people prepared for what was going to happen, not getting people's houses prepared to become more energy efficient. They were unrealistic, and as you know, my opponent brings up here, I mean, she's been in there for 10 years. They haven't been able to take care of these problems. As she's, you know, one of the longest-serving federal legislator right now in New Hampshire, things that, well, that's up for re-election right now, things have only gotten worse, and none of these policies have worked.
Well, one thing we can do, and the governor has dragged his feet here in New Hampshire. We're woefully behind. New Hampshire has only 1% solar energy, and our neighboring states, 17% in Vermont, 20% in Massachusetts. And as a result, consumers are going to pay much less in those neighboring states. $750 less this year in Rhode Island, over $500 less in Vermont. So I'm pleased that we passed that Inflation Reduction Act that has that investment in renewable energy. We can't keep chasing oil and gas and pipelines forever.
But again, this renewable energy is a boondoggle and it's heavily subsidized. What we should have been doing for the 10 years that you've been in Congress is working on nuclear power
oil and gas.
And advancing battery technology. Yeah, I'm not with the oil and gas industry that's held back nuclear energy. They were the enemy of nuclear energy. They've paid protesters to be out there closing down nuclear power plants, but we should have been working on this 10 years ago. Now you're talking about nuclear power being in the mix, but it's a little too late.
But why is the state dragging their feet on the net metering? That's a big problem here.
Well, again, are you running for governor or Congress?